I don't know who it is, but I'm going to tell you right now, she's going to piss me off in about 5 seconds.
Here we go.
Millennials and Gen Z have a much different view of the American dream than past generations. Data shows that soaring inflation, student debt, and limited room for advancement in the workplace has made them feel that milestones like affording a home, starting a family, excelling within the corporate structure are out of reach. Does every generation feel this way at some point? I say yes. What do you think?
Well, since we're sticking with our Clinton theme today, it's the economy, stupid. Like, my generation is the generation of the housing crisis, the financial crisis, 9/11. We've been in war basically my entire generation. You've got 45% of people ages 18 to 29 living with their parents. Our American dream's different. Doesn't mean other struggles didn't matter, but on the having kids specifically, I get it. Most of my friends, if they're not, married by a certain age, they're not owning homes at the same rate, and you don't want to have kids if you don't feel like you can provide that. My one piece of advice, though, to millennials who are holding off having kids because of the finances, if you're in a position, which is also expensive, consider freezing your eggs because you could change that position later. Oh, for the love of all that
is holy.
How much does it cost to freeze eggs?
It's very pricey. But forget that. I cannot be looking at this anymore. That's like View Barbie.
But can you believe that? No.
Who is that?
Alyssa. Oh, she worked I think she worked on Trump's.
Oh, for God's sake, let me tell you something, okay? Honestly, I do not know how you can tell the difference between this and a Bravo
when she
show.
Said, well, that's why I wanted to play this, because when she said freeze her eggs, isn't that like a really expensive thing to do?
Of course.
Unbelievable.
Want to, but no, it's hard. It is a very real struggle out there.
I think it's refreshing to see people enter parenthood so soberly, because I think for generations since the beginning of time, people get married, they just have babies because they're supposed to, and this is what we do. And then you see people like gay couples who fight so hard just to love a baby, and every day people are having kids that some are beaten and like not taken care of. And so to have a generation that says, I don't know if I can give them the life they deserve, I don't know if I'm capable of being a whole person and doing this, I say bravo, because it is not a slight undertaking.
That was my takeaway. I mean, my generation, you got married, you tried to get a house, and you had kids. And this seems to be very intentional. They're thinking about it. And I agree with you, though.
Millennials are brilliant.
Your eggs start turning to dust, and so you have to be careful. And so if you're a young person and you have any kind of chance
I just felt like,
freezing your eggs, which wasn't available to me when I was, your age, I think that you got to at least preserve the opportunity, because you may change your mind.
I'm sorry.
One kid is enough.
Yeah, well, but listen, every generation comes and wants to do better than their parents did. Every generation. But I'm sorry, if you only want to work 4 hours, it's going to be harder for you to get a house.
Oh, my God.
And don't mention 4 days.
I feel for everybody that feels this, but I'm sorry. We busted our behinds. We had to bust our behinds because we didn't have the option of going back.
You gave us the housing crisis, though.
Listen, we had all kinds of stuff.
No, it's true. But the one thing I'd say is millennials are statistically the first generation that's likely to do worse off than their parents.
You know what? That's what they said to us as well. Every generation is told you're going to do worse than your parents. And you know what? People pick it up and they do what they do, and they raise themselves. And this is what you got to do. It's called being a good citizen.
Oh, well, just pull yourselves up from those bootstraps, Whoopi.
Holy, wow.
Oh, for the love of all that is
holy.
They
really, really hate working people.
Working people, they just want to work. If you only want to work 4 hours, that's the people busting ass, working 3 jobs and driving an Uber because they're only wanting to work 4 hours. How about companies only giving people part-time so they don't have to give them benefits? I told you this was just going to serve to make me angry.
I think Whoopi Goldberg is worth over $30 million.
I gave up on her years ago because of this stupid show, and Joy Behar, those other bimbos. Whatever. They were interestingly, the one that I thought I would find the most annoying was the least annoying, but yet they were all just, whatever her name was, View Barbie, the one in the blazer, with the talking about egg freezing. Like, I don't think that you could be more clueless in the world right now than that portrayal.
I can still remember 2 or 3 years ago, or I think it was that. No, it might have been before that, when Whoopi was chastising the children who went to the late Senator Feinstein's office to tell her that, you're destroying this planet. You're making it uninhabitable for a lot of us.
I've lost respect for her so long ago.
I have been here for a long time, and I know what I'm doing. And of course, Whoopi was on the side of Dianne Feinstein.
Whoopi's had so many bad takes like the past few years. Like I don't even that show to me is just stupid.
Remember when
R.I.P. Barbara Walters.
Remember when Joy Behar was blaming the people of East Palestine for voting for Donald Trump? That's why the train derailed. That's why Norfolk Southern's trains derailed and completely contaminated their town.
They're just so elitist. It's just so ridiculous. I cannot. Those are just not serious.
But the reason we play this clip for you guys is you need to understand that when you talk to people, especially comfortable liberals, like the people that think what Israel is doing is correct, that they're protecting themselves from Hamas, when you have people on The View who will say it's terrible what's happening to the Palestinians, but Hamas is using them as human shields, the talking points from the State Department, you have to remember that this is a big place that they're getting their information from. They get it from this show. There are millions of people, especially millions of women, who watch The View.
It's so frustrating.
And that's where they form their political opinions.
Oh, God.
That's the devastating component of that. They're trying to rationalize that it has nothing to do, and again, as I've mentioned, I'm in commercial real estate. It has nothing to do with these mega corporations that are completely unregulated.
You're just not working hard enough.
You're just not working hard enough.
Just work
not
a
that they're
harder.
buying up every house that they could get their hands on.
How so freaking entitled. But you know what it reminds me of? That time when, I forget when it was, when Biden did that interview. It might have been, it was a while back though. It wasn't like since he's been president, but he did this interview where he was saying, you could, work a minimum wage job and just get along just fine. And as if like he has no concept that, yeah, Joe, they're still paying the same minimum wage, except for everything else has gone up. So it's, yes, back when he was a kid, you could work a minimum wage job and be just fine. That is probably true.
Probably.
But that's just not the world anymore.
Joe likes to brag when he went to the University of Delaware, he was paying $300 a semester.
And you know what? Quite honestly, when I hate doing this game, like when I was this, right? But when I went to college, which was 88, to go to the University of Florida, to go to the state school, was very reasonable. It was very inexpensive. It wasn't anything people stressed out about. In fact, people went to state schools because of that, and it made sense. It wasn't free. I think at one point, Florida was even closer to being free, not like California, but it was very normal price. It wasn't some absurd thing to go to a state school. So a lot of those things worked at that time.
Sure.
And they don't realize to them, it's just that, oh, these kids just aren't working hard enough. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.